Go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
This is part
Hello.
2, episode 2. Episode 2. We got Jordan. Say hi, Jordan.
Yo, hey guys, this is Jordan.
Perhaps it is.
Total
Yeah,
goddamn
perhaps.
mess still.
Jeez. Episode 2, part 2. I thought we were talking about Star Wars already.
Yes. Fucking Star Wars, dude. I just realized me and you are the only one that has seen the new movie, I think. Actually, speaking of that.
Oh, yeah.
I've only
It's,
seen the 7th one.
Well, we could talk about that.
What was
That-
the most
that-
recent one?
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, it had some interesting moments, but it also wasn't that bad in my opinion, though.
It wasn't too bad, yeah. It definitely hit a few points that I guess everyone expected, but at the same time, like, they had so much more potential.
Oh,
in
most
every
definitely.
in every movie of the new trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't there something said about they're gonna be doing them all over again?
What?
Why?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I heard something about they were gonna be doing them over again because they weren't happy with how they all turned out or something.
Bruh.
I don't remember where it
What?
was. I don't have any sources to prove it.
I heard about a fourth trilogy potentially, but not a redo.
I didn't hear about the 4th trilogy.
Yeah, I've heard the story about the 4th trilogy. Because they signed a new deal where, like, if the first movie of the 4th trilogy doesn't make enough money that they expect it to, they then can end their contract with George Lucas Films and just be done and not making the other two in the trilogy.
End on an even number? What?
Yeah.
10. Huh.
The way that
Interesting.
it's like supposed to be set up is really weird.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we should probably start with Jordan. Who the hell are you?
Oh, my name's Jordan. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I do vocals for a band with Jason and Michael here, and I'm also in a different band based in Seattle. Actually, it's named Impatho, so you can find us online on most major streaming sources. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
Whoa.
Yay.
Gotta love that voice crack.
Oh yeah, most definitely. The voice cracks are the best part. We usually
Yes.
only get them from Michael, though.
Usually.
It's okay.
Usually. All right. So has there been any new like metal like songs that have come out recently?
Metallica said they were going to release something the other day, and then they didn't.
No, they did.
Wait, they did?
Yeah, they're releasing SNM2, and they released 2 redone versions for All Within My Hands and Nothing Else Matters off of SNM2.
Oh. Okay.
Whether you're
When's the due date for that actually?
August 25th.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Like,
Sweet.
yeah, it's all done. They have the vinyl set looks wild because the one disc Lars was showing, it's like red and white and it looks like it's shattered and everything.
Oh.
Like, it looked insane from what he was showing.
Huh.
I was hoping for like studio music, and we're getting live
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, still, new music is semi-new music.
New music
Yeah.
is indeed new music. Speaking of new music, Carcosa's coming out with something on the 22nd.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So you guys
I'm
are
excited to
gonna
hear
be in
that.
for quite a wild ride.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jordan has the insider info on this.
Literally
The
every
inch
time we talk and Jordan's here, I manage to forget that he knows Bana personally, and then he brings it up. I'm like, shit.
Oh man, I gotta be honest. The first Carcosa song, I wasn't excited at first, and then it dropped, and it was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
dude,
it blew my fucking mind.
I was hyping you up for it while we were playing Borderlands the whole time.
Yeah,
I
you
told-
kept
I-
talking about it, and I was like, I'm getting more and more interested the more you speak, sir.
Yeah, it's fucking good. It's gonna blow you guys' mind. Like,
Oh hell
I'm
yeah.
so excited for you guys. To
Oh
hear it.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'd never really listened to Galactic Pegasus, but I really liked Andrew's solo EP, so I was excited to see what's going on in Carcosa.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, the solo EP was amazing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Them and Angel Maker are both high school bands, actually.
Oh
Really?
shit! Really?
Some of the guys have been together for a long time. That's why those two bands are such a tight group. Like when I got to know the Vancouver scene, it was like Angel Maker, Galactic Pegasus, and shoot, what's the name? The Hall of Catharsis. Arts Claire Lamb, wife of Dean Lamb. Her
Mhm.
band is also
Yeah.
a local one. So it was like I've seen those three bands like more times than I have fingers in the local scene.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, it's so funny. Vancouver's got one of the craziest like local
Local scene.
local scenes, and I don't even know anything about Rockford's music scene at all. I know Into the Grave, but they're terrible. Like they're absolutely terrible. I'm sorry, but they are. Michael, do you know any local bands around you? Actually,
I know of a couple. One I was actually supposed to go see before Corona happened. Because they had this local show somewhere, and I was gonna go with my mother, but
The
it-
goddamn coof.
the band was on my six. It was supposed to be their last show
Oh.
there or something.
Oh.
And then there was, I think, Reckless Redemption was another one. It was like 6 other bands on the bill as well.
oh,
It looked
six?
pretty cool.
Jesus Christ!
Damn.
Yeah.
Must have been a long show. Would have been a long show. Sorry.
Yeah. Seemed
Huh.
pretty cool, but then of course Corona. So that I don't know a lot about the local scene, but I know a couple of bands,
Click, click, click.
Hmm.
Click.
perhaps.
So, Jordan,
On
what?
a-
Oh,
oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh,
You're the
I was
guest.
gonna say, on an interesting note, actually, if we're talking about things that would or wouldn't have happened because of Corona, I don't think I would have met you guys if Corona didn't
Oh,
happen.
yeah.
I
True.
originally was planning on trying to work in Singapore overseas actually for a year or 2 years depending on the visa.
Whoa.
And I probably would have left Vancouver in around April, maybe end of April. So yeah, funny story. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Corona. And yeah, in general, how are you guys feeling about that? Like, I've definitely like I've been able to find some silver lining in it, especially meeting you guys and joining a few bands. But how are you guys feeling about this right now?
Kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the joining bands part, which does tap into the local band stuff that
Yeah.
we're talking about. Because I am working with a band now.
Oh,
Well-
fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Congrats.
We're Reactor 4, which there's like depth behind that name that we didn't figure out until after it was set in stone that was going to be the name. So in Chernobyl, the reactor that melted was
Reactor number 4.
4.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, so we're going to have a very, I guess, industrial sound and look.
Ooh.
You got my attention.
So kind
Damn.
of like Fear Factory Static XE. Don't take that literally. Because I'm not going to say that we sound like them because we probably will not. But you know,
It's rather
Inspired
you're
by.
taking influence from them.
Yeah. What Michael said, like heavy influence from them.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited to start working with those guys.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Yeah. So Jason, what were you gonna ask me earlier?
Oh, I was gonna ask because we talked a little bit about this on the last episode. What's some stuff that you're into that isn't necessarily metal based?
Oh, mostly. Well, I think for the most part of what I do listen to when it's not metal is still somewhat rock and riff based. I maybe 5% of what I listen to might be like rap from like Asian Americans. A lot
Ooh.
of their themes, if it's not about like the quote unquote like I'm the best / like gangster life kind of thing, a lot of the songs I listen to are kind of based around like a homage to like their parents. Like saying like, okay, you traveled so far and sacrificed so much, and now like as I'm growing older, I kind of understand the sacrifices you made. And other than that, when I'm in a mood for some nice stuff in the morning, I'll listen to Kavit, other math rock bands and maybe some
yes,
jazz.
Covet, my
Just,
favorite jazz.
Oh yeah. Nah, but just more stuff that's still musically engaging, but definitely the mood is definitely a lot happier and like good for the morning. You wake up, you have a nice cup of coffee, you can listen to that kind of stuff. I guess that's the other thing.
Just no pig noises.
Yeah.
Just no.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I guess the reason why I like math rock is like musically active wise, like the intensity is still there, the complexness can still be there, um, but it's like more on the instrumental side, more on like keeps your brain active, but it's not like crazy death metal or anything.
Oh yeah. Oh, math rock. The thing I accidentally did the other day with one of our new demos.
Yeah, that was kind of nuts.
All right, so me, Simon, and Michael have already talked about this, and since you're new here, what is your like entire like musical instruments that you have?
That I own currently?
Yes,
I have
that you
one...
own, that you use, just all of it.
Okay, so I have a drum set downstairs that maybe I play every 2 or 3 months. That was my first instrument.
Ooh.
I picked that up actually in 2008. I went through that typical Asian childhood thing of getting forced to learn a bit of piano. Um, I spoke out against it quite more than my brother did actually. So I moved off of that maybe after like max 2 years. I picked up drums a little bit later. I played that for a long time. And eventually, I believe I wanted to play something that wasn't as noisy acoustically. Picked up a bass guitar, maybe 2014, 15. And then I met Andrew Baina, and I bought my first guitar off of him. It was that Natural Finish Jackson
Oh yeah, you were showing me
GS22.
before.
Yeah, so that was my first guitar ever. I got that for about $90 off of Andrew. And then that was my first guitar. Got a RG ZB755. It's a natural ash, I believe, dark stained, white binding. And then I got Jackson X. Then I got all the guitars I have now after selling those three. So I've got my Opeth, Michael Ackerford signature. I have my EC1000. I have my Solar. I have my GS22-7. And my bass guitar is the F104. And then at one point I did own one of Baina's RG8s, which is sold back to them. And now he's going to be using that at his wedding for the guest booklet. So everyone's going to be signing that 8-string that I owned for a short while.
It's gonna be like one of the coolest like ideas I've ever heard, to be honest.
Yeah. He actually was looking for just any 8-string on his Facebook, and then at that time I pretty much exhausted like all the Meshuggah I could out of that 8-string. And at that point I was like, you know what, like Andrew's been such a good friend to me, and I gave it back to him for a really good price, and I got to have a chat with Serena a little bit while he was not there just quite yet when we were meeting up. Yeah, that's my history with instruments. So drums, one bass, and a few guitars.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
So if you had to choose a favorite, what out of all the gear that you own right now, what do you think is your favorite?
That obviously is quite a hard question. I think with certain limits, I would have trouble deciding in between my Solar and my drum set. Obviously because I can only play my drum set at certain hours in the day, and I don't necessarily feel like it anymore that often. I think emotionally, relief wise, and expression wise, I definitely love playing drums. I can play for like 4 hours and come up with like actually like inflamed palms and like numb fingers.
Jesus.
But I could just play through all my favorite songs and cry and smile and like enjoy being physical with them. But in terms of outside of that, I think out of my guitars, I definitely love my Solar a lot. I love how it sounds. I love how it feels. I love the weight behind it. I love the pickups I put in it. Everything about it
Yeah.
right now is like
About to say, didn't
something
you
I
and your
really like
dad
in
upgrade
guitar.
it?
Yeah. Originally, I was aware that direct mount and pickup ring mounts, the ears for the pickups are actually different, slightly different size. I don't know if that's a defect on my Solar, but the pickup ears on these Seymour Duncan Solars were larger. The screws were larger, and when I tried to put in my Nazgul Sentience, when I got the Solar itself, it didn't fit.
Huh.
So obviously, being a somewhat expensive instrument, I was worried like, okay, do I punch the holes to be larger in the pickup, or do I fill the screw hole in the guitar and try to redo it and all the complications? Obviously, it's the most expensive one I own. I didn't want to make a mistake and ruin it, even though people seem to deal with that issue quite a bit and quite easily. Just for me, for someone that doesn't mod their guitars often, I was quite concerned about it. But now they got that all figured out. I'm very happy with it.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember when you were showing us like the sound differences between that thing once you got them in.
Yeah.
Fucking screams now.
Yeah, I think tone wise and gear wise, I think I'm pretty happy. I've been using the NTS, the neural NTS with a rev sim. I've been blending the lower end from the NTS with the higher end of the rev, and it sounds pretty close to like what I imagine when I think of like a nice, tight, aggressive modern metal tone that isn't almost too crisp. I
Huh.
like the saturation. I like the death metal kind of gain, that genre slash area of gain that you can get from the lower end. Yeah, I think
Fuck
I've
yeah,
grown
dude.
pretty. I think I've grown pretty particular with the kind of amp sound that they want, but I'm very happy with this.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
All right, so the next thing that we talked about before was right now on the current market, is there any like new like music gear that you've seen that like you really like?
Um, I'm curious about the quad cortex from Neural.
I
Some
don't know what
sources,
that is.
quad cortex is pretty much their floor camper.
Oh,
So that's gonna be a modular, and some rumors haven't necessarily been confirmed or unconfirmed either, but some people are saying it will literally have all the NTS plugins built in, and some others are saying it's like build your own from scratch, like an Axe-Fx or a Camper.
I mean, both.
oh,
I'm not.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I don't think I see myself owning a floor modeler or like physical modeler for a while because I'm happy with what they have, but no, I'm definitely keeping my eye out to read up on that as that gets released.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now for the fun part, because this is like where we had the most fun last time because of Simon. Fun life stories.
Oof.
All right, Michael, do you happen to have any?
None off the top of my head, no.
All right, so Jordan, what about you? Any crazy, outlandish like life stories that have happened to you?
Oh yeah. I've got a pretty hilarious one. Actually,
Ooh,
kind of
I'm
two
excited.
built into the same one. This is all during the same trip to Whistler, which is a mountain for skiing and snowboarding in Vancouver. Oh, not in Vancouver, but nearby, within BC as well.
Mm-hmm.
So back when I was a kid, I had a retainer. I had a braces at a certain point in time. Um, but with a retainer, like you can't really eat with it on. You have to take it off. Hopefully, you have a container supplied by like, the dentist office with you. Um, in this case, I can't remember exactly how old it was, but it was still elementary school for sure. I was eating at the cafeteria with my family, and unfortunately, me being a kid, I forgot that dedicated container for the retainer.
Oh
Um,
boy.
so my dad's solution was, because it looks kind of gross, I should wrap it in a napkin and put it somewhere while I eat, and obviously I'll take it out of the napkin and put it back in my mouth afterwards. So what happened was that we all had a fun time eating, but next thing you know, we threw out all the garbage on the trays.
Oh, no.
Um, and we're leaving, and we realize, oh shit, I don't have my retainer, and it's not in my pockets either. So my dad and I literally had to go back in, talk to the staff, sort through the garbage to find my retainer, which was wrapped in a paper towel, and that
Oh,
was
man.
pretty gross.
Oh yeah.
The other story, which is a lot more less gross, more interesting, more hilarious, and I actually almost died technically.
Oh.
um,
I'm interested.
I had taken skiing lessons at a different mountain, and at this other mountain, they have lessons for younger kids, they have lessons for adults, but their difficulty rating system, uh, the names are similar, but the levels themselves are different.
Yeah.
So what happened was that I had learned that during my lessons that there are certain pathways out of the regular path that'll go into the trees and maybe it'll come out 3-4 seconds later. So it's
Mhm.
quick in and out, and like the way like the pathways are specifically carved or shaped to like for beginners, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward to me being on mountain number 2 with my family. We're skiing down this certain area. It's not too difficult, but I convinced my dad that over there we had learnt that these side passages that I've seen here and there are meant for you to come out 3 or 4 seconds later. Well, let me tell you how wrong I was. So I convince him. I go down. Next thing you know, I don't see any ground in front of me. What actually happened was that exit went into a deep slope, which was very icy and had the mogos. Do you guys know what mogos are?
No.
No.
Not a clue.
They're technically a series of bumps. You know how like acoustic foam looks like, but the round kind? Like
Yeah.
it's like mountain then dip, right? Mountain then dip.
Oh. Oh
Mhm.
no.
So those are meant for your feet to kind of follow, so your knees kind of are loose and your body stays at the same height, but your legs kind of go up and down and follow the hill. It's supposed to help you increase speed. And it's obviously they have larger ones for like beginners, and the smaller they get, um, it's obviously for more advanced people. Um, for me, I realized that the slope going down is all icy mogos, and I don't fall. I'm still on my feet somehow by the end of that section. Then I feel I rise up. I feel my knees get brought up to my chest, but I don't fall over still. And within half a second, all you see is white, and then somehow I land on my back in the snow. But from my dad's point of view, what happened was I disappear for maybe 3 seconds. He hears a scream. He's following down this path he's assuming I'm going to meet up with him a little bit later down that same area, right? So he skis a little bit forward. He hears me scream and come out from above on his right side and fly out of the trees past where he's facing. So I go from on his right side to his left side, and I smash down and like kind of drag in the snow for about like, I don't know, 10 and 15 feet. Apparently, I don't remember this part, but apparently there's a hill, like a proper cliff hill on the left side, that if
Oh.
I went another like 30 feet, I would have gone down.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
Jesus
So
Christ.
the other thing is, I don't know if he doesn't remember either, but I'm not sure if that left side is actually like meant to be another like um advanced path, or if it's like a cliff, like where you're not supposed to fucking go at all cliff.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then the first thing I say, apparently, according to my dad, is, "Wow, that was fun. Let's do that again." As a kid, I had
Of
snow
course.
I had snow up my back, like all the way in between my shirt and my back, all the way out to my neck.
Oh
Oh
my
my God.
Like I landed on my
god.
back and I was just sliding. So yeah, that was quite the story. And then I remember just feeling so tired all of a sudden after that I got driven back into the little like stretcher / like wheelchairs in the snow kind of thing. And there was like a snowmobile in front of me driving me back to relax and rest. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
there's
All right,
that story.
Simon.
I'm actually gonna go piss. I'll be
Oh.
back.
Jesus. And right now, the only stories I can think of are slightly terrifying stories.
Hey.
Yeah, fuck it. So, in the idea of almost dying, I've almost literally died twice in my life.
Oh.
Michael knows about these two stories. I don't know if you know actually, but when I was like 13, like 12 or 13, the water around my heart that helps my heart beat and stuff got infected.
You should literally see my face right now. Holy crap, that sounds scary as hell.
Yeah. I basically, the whole week before we figured this out, I had been fighting a giant like chest cold. And from the chest cold, I just suddenly started having these problems where if I bent over even slightly, I had really sharp like pains running through the left side of my chest where my heart's located.
Oh.
And I remember waking my parents up at like 2 a.m. because the pain wouldn't stop while I was trying to sleep. I legitimately thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah,
So
damn.
they get me to the hospital trying to reassure me nothing's wrong and that whatever I'm feeling will go away. And as I'm explaining to the doctor what's going on, they quickly get me into a room and he's walking back and forth outside the room, like back and forth, like on the phone with somebody. And you can kind of tell he's a little panicked. A couple nurses come in. I get an IV in the crease of my elbow, and the other nurse is bringing in a crash cart. And my dad and my mom are looking at her like, what are you doing? And basically, because of where I was complaining about the pain, they were preparing for anything.
Yeah. Damn.
The doctor comes back in the room, and he was like, so I've been on the phone with a cardiac doctor, and I need to do something to you that you might try to fight me on, but it'll give me the answers I need. He grabs me by the left shoulder and tries to force me onto the bed, and because of the pain, I literally was fighting him so hard he could not push me down. And because of what my response was, it was like he knew exactly what was going on. Luckily, throughout all this, we caught it early enough that all I needed was ibuprofen and the pain went away. Funny enough. But what it ended up just being was a condition called pericarditis, where the blood cells in your body are fighting off a current infection, get confused, and they attack the wrong thing. And that's what happened to me. They attacked the cells and stuff in the water around my heart, completely trying to fight off the infection and stuff. And I ended up being in the hospital for a whole weekend because I couldn't lay down without severe pain in my chest. So that's the first time I almost died.
Jeez. Yeah, sorry, before you move on to the second one, actually, I want to add it to that. Yeah, whenever it has to do with heart or your genitals, I think like they have to be prepared for anything. I have a friend actually who I don't know exactly what the issue was, but he hurt his back, and that kind of was connected to his central system.
Yeah.
And as a result, you know how like if your back has problems, sometimes in the muscles you might feel strain somewhere else.
Yeah.
Actually. So my friend had pain in his testicles for a short while.
Oh, jeez.
And as soon as he mentioned that to his doctor, they were like, yeah, like their alert level shot up all the way to the roof. And like, okay, if it has to do with the genitals, right now we have to be prepared for anything. So like, I'm totally understand like how like as soon as your doctor heard that it had to do with the heart, like they prepared for like the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
I totally understand.
It was fucking terrifying just being that young and just seeing the crash cart next to you for you specifically and not understanding what's going on.
Yeah. Damn.
The second story I have, I still don't know how it happened, and neither do my doctors. This is something that happened that I can't explain, but my heart skipped a beat of some kind and tried to catch its rhythm again, but it caused it to go into what's called afibrarrhythmia. My heart rate reached 225 beats per minute while I was sitting still. I remember waking my parents up again, like super early in the morning, and I was like, Dad, there is something wrong with me again. I don't know what it is. So he's grabbing me, by the wrist and like the side of my neck, trying to feel for a pulse. And to him, my pulse felt fine. So they sent me to. I had to sleep that night with my heart going like that, hoping that maybe in the morning it would go away. Woke up, same thing. It was beating fast and like crazy. I remember, like, this is gonna sound horrible because like my parents didn't believe it, but I ended up having to like really convince them to take me to the ER because they really didn't think anything was wrong. And I remember even the nurse, as I'm explaining to her what's going on, you could tell by her face she didn't believe me either. So they get one of those machines and they put the thing on my like finger to like read my heart rate, and almost immediately you could tell the sudden mood change in her.
Oh, yeah.
Because sitting still, I was going like 190, almost 200 beats per minute, just sitting there staring at her. And you could like literally see all the color drain from her face as she's watching the thing go nuts.
And as a frame of reference for the listeners, Jason is still learning how to play at 200 BPM. That's how fast it is. It's fucking fast as fuck.
Yeah, it's terrifying as shit.
That's how fast it is. People can't play. People have trouble playing guitar that fast.
And
Just as a
I
frame of
lived
reference.
in that like the whole like frame.
Damn.
And
Sorry, just a quick thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I totally forgot about that term, but actually I had a friend in high school who had that same odd heart rhythm.
afibrarrhythmia.
Yeah, sorry.
There's a couple different kinds, like, because there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's even one where your heart's slower than it should be, but you're fine, if that makes sense. Like, your body's fine and you're acting like a normal human being, but your heart rate is a lot slower than it really should be, but there's nothing they can really do about that, as far as I understand.
Okay, damn.
The one I had, my heart was literally Sonic going as fast as he could.
God.
Gotta go fast.
Exactly. And then, like, I won't forget this either because as they're talking to my parents, they find out I actually have a cardiac doctor. So they called her and they were like, they're explaining to her what's going on. I ended up having to be transported by ambulance all the way up to Madison, Wisconsin, because that's where my doctor was at the time. And the one thing I won't forget, I didn't really even consider like how bad it was, but my heart was still going crazy when we got to the new room. And I remember the paramedics were trying to get me to sit up slowly. For whatever reason, I didn't listen to them and I shot straight up out of the bed. Everybody in the room like almost lost their shit.
Oh.
The one thing that sticks out of my mind, shot up right out of the bed and everybody was like, "Oh no, stop it." And I had to be like really walked slowly to the bed because they didn't know what was going to happen to my heart at that point.
Jesus.
And as it went on, they were going through a bunch of different things and they were trying to figure, what can we do for this? I remember, and I still remember this because it still terrifies me. I had the giant like shock paddles, like sticky stuff on my body for like an entire weekend. And with how small I was back then, it literally took up the entire portion of my body.
Jeez.
I remember they came in to change out one of the IV needles, and there was this guy talking to me, and it's funny because he taught me my favorite word to this day, cauterize. He was explaining to me what they were going to try to do. They were going to try to, if they couldn't get any kind of medication to bring my heart rate down, they were going to go in surgically. I forget like where he said they were going to go in from, but they were basically going to cauterize a certain vein in my heart. And they were going to try to hope that would stop the crazy fast rhythm. And I remember staring at him being that young, being like, what does cauterize mean? And I remember being taught what the word cauterize was. And the way I remember he explained it to me was like, imagine you get a huge like cut down like your like body and it's like oozing blood. You're basically taking fire to it and you're putting it to that hole and it stops the bleeding. For whatever reason, I thought that was the coolest shit as a kid.
On a side note of that, actually, sorry, real quick. Fun fact: cauterize is in the lyrics for "Strife," I believe, by Trivium.
Yeah.
My throat.
Yeah, my throat begins to cauterize, like Simon just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard "Strife," that was the one word that stuck out to me because I was like, "Oh my god, I live
Hey.
that.
That song, when I went to New York for a school band trip, I listened to 3 songs on that trip. Angels Fall and
Ooh.
Breaking Benjamin, and then Strife. Those were the 3 songs I listened to for 2 weeks.
Damn.
Fucking me
Wow.
too, my kid.
Nice.
And then I remember, like, luckily it ended up not being super bad. I ended up getting a medicine called the Joxin put in my system. Whatever it, like, was, it brought my heart rate right back down to where it was supposed to be. And I remember when this happened because I remember sitting there and I suddenly got super tired. Just out of nowhere. Like, I was struggling to keep my head up and I couldn't understand it. The night nurse came in to check on me and to check the medicine bag, and she's looking at the heart rate machine, and I won't forget this because it was funny as hell. She literally jumped and went like, "Yes!" like super loud as hell, scared the living shit out of me, and you could hear the heart monitor going up and up again. And she just starts grabbing me by the shoulder, going, "No, no, no, stop, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm so sorry." Which started scaring me even more. So it was just spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
But it ended up getting to a point where she was finally able to explain to me what happened. And basically, she was authorized to try this medicine from my doctor, and it was actually working.
Nice.
And so her just seeing that, I guess it made her night, because she hated seeing a 12 or a 13 to 14-year-old just sitting in there, with their heart about to explode out of their chest. And
Yeah.
I remember asking her, like, why I felt so, like, drained all of a sudden. And the way it was explained to me, which it might be obvious for anybody listening and you guys, but basically, with my heart rate running that fast, my entire body was reacting as if I was constantly running and moving. So when my heart rate went back to the normal rhythms, it was like I had stopped running a marathon.
Oh,
So all of the energy and the adrenaline my heart was making because of how fast it was beating was just gone. So I was crashing super hard because I was just falling asleep right on the spot. The other thing I remember too, which is another funny thing before I finish the story, I remember I fell asleep and I vaguely remembered my mom forcing me onto my side for some reason, and I didn't understand why. I just went back to bed, and when I woke up, I was asking her about it. I guess I was sleeping on my back, and for whatever reason, the heart rate monitor dipped suddenly and was like really low, and she started freaking out. So she got one of the nurses, and they were basically explaining to her that that's normal, that when you sleep, your heart is a lot slower than it's, is when you're awake and you're moving. And all that was just my heart going slower than it was before. But for whatever reason, it freaked my mom out so much that she forced me to sleep on my side to keep the monitor from not doing the beep, 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 beep. But yeah, that's my 2 stories of how I almost died when I was like a preteen.
Dang.
Michael, do you have any pre-death stories?
No, I don't.
What were you gonna say, Jordan?
I'm assuming you've had zero problems since, hopefully?
Yeah, I am completely clear of that stuff. The only things I can't do is I cannot have coffee and energy drinks, just on the chance that it causes my heart to go into those rhythms again.
Yeah.
And I'm technically not supposed to have high amounts of caffeine either, but specifically, I'm not supposed to have energy drinks and coffee specifically.
Okay.
Would you say, Simon?
I said I don't think anybody is, really.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But me especially, because
Yeah.
I had Sonic
You'll
in my
literally
chest for
die.
some reason. Yeah, I will literally die.
On a bit of a lighter note, I
I was going to say, Simon, the stage is yours.
destroyed my high school's bleachers.
Huh?
Oh.
What?
So-
Get ready. This is a fucking roller coaster of a story.
Yes, we're ready.
So, this is right before COVID happened.
Mhm.
So, little 16-year-old Simon just trotting about in his high school one morning. I was like, hey, I want to pull something off before I leave this school. So I was like, you know what would be really funny? If I took a bunch of bolts and like nuts and shit out of the bleachers,
Oh my
and just
god.
kind of kept them. So that night, I think it was actually before basketball practice, there was nobody in the school because they would leave it unlocked. It was a very, very small town, so they could really pinpoint who did everything.
Yeah.
And I go in there and I'm like, all right, I like cracked my knuckles back and forth, and I was like, okay, let's get this shit started. And I like break, or I don't even sprint yet. I just start walking into there. There's nobody there, and I'm like, okay, I guess I don't have to be quiet. So I just start stomping really hard on the floor. I thought it was pretty funny at the time, and I just start taking all the nuts and bolts off from the outside. And then I hear people talking because, like, I think 3 or 4 people walked in the front door, and I just break into a full sprint out the side door, down the halls. You can hear I was fucking clomping my feet hard as hell. Like I was going bonk, 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 fucking going ape shit.
Yeah.
And I run out. Nothing happened that night. But the next, I think it was actually the next week, the bleachers hadn't been used, so there was a pep rally.
Oh no.
And
Oh
I
no.
had completely forgotten about it at this point. I just, I don't remember. I forgot about it, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're having a pep rally today. I get there, and they do the button thing. All the bleachers pop out. I'm like, huh? Didn't I do something to those a while ago?
Didn't
then
I
someone-
do a thing?
Yeah. And I think it was actually a senior stepped on the like bottommost seat, and it just went wham, and it all fucking collapsed. And I'm like, oh shit, that's what I did.
Oh my god.
And everybody, the teachers all freaking the fuck out, faculty's going ape shit, and they're like, who did that? Why did it all fall?
Wait, so they immediately started blaming people?
Yeah, they
What?
just started fucking blind fire blaming people.
What?
Yeah,
Oh my.
they went for the biggest troublemakers, so of course they questioned me, and I was like, well, how the hell was I supposed to know that there's gonna be a pep rally today? Or no, I didn't say that. I was like, why the fuck would I do that? Because really, the only shit that I'd gotten in trouble for at school for is just screaming. Yeah, just literally screaming in the middle of the halls.
Oh, I thought you cut out.
Yeah.
Oh no,
No, just pure screaming.
yeah. So they were like, oh, okay, I guess he didn't do anything. And they just kept pulling people in and out, in and out. And I think it was like a week after. It wasn't martial law, but it was kind of martial law. You had to have a really, really good reason to be leaving your house. I got a text from my buddies and like, dude, they fucking pinned somebody else for that shit. You have no idea how I basically like lost my absolute shit from laughing. So yeah,
Bruh, I just can't get over the fact they didn't even check if like it was old or anything. They immediately, it was you.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Do you have another story since me and Jordan told like 2 different stories?
Any specific type?
Let's go with one where you were scared shitless.
How about the one of many times that I almost died while skating?
Sure.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So this was actually just last week.
Oh my god.
So
Wow.
I was just out skating around town, I of course, I just moved here, so I'm still trying to get familiar with the place. I'm skating in this parking garage, okay?
Okay.
And I see it and I'm like, "Oh, hey. That's pretty cool. I'm going to skate all the way down from the top and not stop at all."
Oh my god.
So I get up there to the very top of the parking garage and I'm like, "Okay. Cool. It's time to skate down it now." And I don't know if you ever tried to stop from going really fast on a board, but it is very, very difficult. And so I make it down maybe 2 levels because it was like a 5-story parking garage. Sorry. And I'm going like way too fast. I'm getting crazy ass speed wall. And I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. So I just kind of jumped off my board because my brain was like, oh, if I jump off and start sprinting at the same speed I was going, I'll be fine.
Oh my god.
I jump off and I trip. And I just go
Oh.
fucking BAM! Like face first into the ground. And I'm like, oh! I got knocked out cold for like an hour.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I woke up. I guess nobody cared to like check. Oh, hey, is that a dead kid over there in the corner? Cool. Time to go on with my day. So, I sat there for like an hour and I woke up and I was like, oh, whoa.
Whoa.
What just happened again? And I went home. My mom was like, where the hell were you for the past hour? And I was like, I don't fucking know. I had to make up something about being on the other side of town so that she wouldn't fucking take me to the hospital for literally no reason. I felt completely fine and I was fine. So,
Jesus Christ. I mean, at least it happened while you're young and not old and fragile.
Yeah.
Because, hey, you walked away from it, but if you were, like, at least 2 years older, you might not have.
True.
Jesus.
Yeah, as a follow-up question for everyone, who knows who has a number of how many times they've passed out other than from sleeping?
I know of one time.
Like, you've no idea.
I know of one time. And it was fucking stupid.
Sorry, outside of drinking as well. Sorry.
Well, I don't drink. So.
Like genuinely, genuinely like passed out because of like something that was like genuinely bad for your body. I think once for me.
What about you, Michael?
I can't think of anything now.
Well, you already know my answers quite a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was I'll guess I'll expand on mine. This was when I had PE as the first block, as my first class of the day in high school.
Oh god,
I didn't have breakfast.
Oh no.
And we had PE class and it was fucking like a play on CrossFit. And then so I got to the class fine, but my heart is beating like a motherfucker. Everyone was just doing the usual, changing, making the way back up from the changing lockers back to the regular lockers for the next class, right? Everyone has that period.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I realized, damn, I'm changing pretty slow today. Next thing I know, I finished changing, but I'm literally the last one in the changing room.
Oh.
I slowly walk up the stairs and I realize like, oh my sight's getting fucky. And I literally collapse halfway up the staircase on my face.
Damn.
And I get woken up by a teacher and she's like, holy crap, are you okay? And I told her like, yeah, I didn't eat breakfast. I don't know why I was changing so slow and I
I'm
passed
dying.
out on the stairs. Yeah, pretty much. No, and then she bought me a can of pop and I drank it and I was fine. 100% fine for the rest of the day.
Yeah, your blood sugar dropped.
Yeah, like, and
as somebody that lives with 2 diabetics, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, my parents are like very Asian, so they're like, no juice. Juice has a lot of sugar in it. Only drink water or tea, some shit like that. So literally, like for the longest time, I was growing up. I was telling them like I need like some kind of sugar because some days I know when I feel like shit, it's because I need sugar. But they never have like juice or pop lying around the house.
Yeah.
Or chips or candy.
Jesus.
Yeah, like I had to buy my own if I had to, and usually I got like too lazy to buy my own. But I'm much more healthy now. But no, yeah, that was. How about you, Jason? Was that
I was like 7 or 8 years old. I don't remember much about this if it tells you anything. But according to my dad, he was like making burgers, fries in a deep fryer and everything, just doing his thing, trying to watch like make sure I'm not like getting near the food or anything. Apparently, I had stepped up on a stepping stool and literally laid the bottom part of my lip on the deep fryer while it was boiling hot.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember was like touching it, and then I just remember waking up in my parents' bed that night with my dad just staring and poking at my lip.
Yeah.
I had this really bad like bleeding scar on the bottom part of my lip for so long. But that's like I said, all I remember,
Jesus.
I touched the deep fryer and suddenly I was teleported home.
Dude, like, that's like your body shutting down because it knows it's gonna hurt so much. I had a really big fryer burn on my left back of my left hand.
Yeah.
I was working at like a bar in the restaurant side of a bar, and usually like how you have to clean up the deep fryer once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, when you fry stuff with flour, the little bits just sink to the bottom, just burn because it's still hot, right?
Oh yeah.
So you have to like put a pot in the bottom, connect the tube, put a strainer in between the tube and the pot, and like pour all the oil out, and you'll take out all the shit that ends up in the strainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that some restaurants they make you do it during service, so the oil
What?
is still hot. Because if you turn the fryer off at the end of service, it takes like a fucking hour for it to cool down. Because you have like 15 liters of oil, right? And
Yeah.
oil stays hot for a long time. So
Oh yeah.
you're not gonna wait till it's like body temperature to clear it out. You do it while it's hot. So, I had cleaned oil before, and I was taught how to do it properly in school, but this deep fryer had carried a lot more oil.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is instead of putting the side of the pot against the edge to pour the oil back in, I put the bottom of it in. The whole thing slipped out of my hand. The pot was still upright. It slid to the back of the fryer. It hit the wall of the fryer, and the oil backsplashed towards me. And I burnt the left, like half of the back of my left hand, and I was in so much pain. Like I had that shit under ice water. I powered through the rest of my shit for another 2 hours. My left hand was in like a bucket of water and ice for the whole time. I made it home. It hurt so much. I was just angry at everything.
Oh
I
yeah.
drove to 7-Eleven, paid like $18 for just like a bunch of wings because I felt so angry. I just wanted to eat something that I was craving. And my left hand was like bandaged and like scarred for like a few months. But now it's gone. It's completely gone. 100%.
Yeah. Same with like what used to be under my lip. You can't even tell that it ever happened.
Yeah, but that shit is hot. That's like 380 degrees Fahrenheit, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I know one story for Simon's passing out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right, Jordan?
What time you fucking made me laugh so damn hard?
Wide
Blacked out
Phineas.
for my bedroom.
You guys didn't cover this in the last episode? Oh my god.
No, we didn't even. This was never a topic of passing out, actually.
Oh man.
No, I just told them about the time.
Do you
let's
wanna
do it right
explain
now
for
because
the
you're here.
viewers?
Yeah, because you're here.
Who wants to explain it then?
Michael. You've been so quiet. Talk, bitch.
What would you say if I don't remember the events that led up to it?
Bro.
Okay, Jordan.
All I remember is Wide Phineas.
Okay, Jordan. It's up to you, I guess.
Okay, I'll piece together what I can, and if you guys have more details, you can feel free to come in and fill in. So essentially, there's this kids show that aired quite a few years ago called Phineas and Ferb, and one of the characters, his face is shaped kind of like a triangle.
It's a
And the
fucking
thing is with-
Dorito.
Yeah, the thing is with most animations, they'll have a left and a right side of the face. They usually won't show the face facing towards the camera, right? So from the side, his face is a triangle, but there is one odd scene where he's facing the front, and you see the points of his nose kind of blend into the rest of his face. So you see like a squished diamond with just two eyes, and a little tuft of hair, which is like red. And so essentially that was made to me.
Evil.
So essentially that was a meme with this like a skin colored diamond with two giant eyes. Thing is that originally caught Simon off guard, and what we all decided to do was try to kill him, and we would copy that face and paste it on Samurai Jack, on Yugi Moto's face, on a bunch of
Fucking war robots.
other photos.
War
Yeah.
robots.
What I
The
decided
Legend
to
of
do,
Phineas.
The War
What I
Robots one
decided
was
to
the
do-
last one I remember before I fucking blacked out.
Yeah, so essentially, Simon was laughing at the first one, and we just kept escalating, to the point where I decided to take that robot from Power Rangers. You know how it has 5
Megazord.
different animals. each of the faces still shows when it's combined. So I had an opportunity to put 5 of the faces in one image, and I shared that to the group. And essentially, after a few more, Simon went silent on us.
Completely
And we weren't
silent.
really sure what happened, and we kind of realized a little bit later than we should have. And he was still quiet, and we assumed that maybe he went to the washroom or something, and we just continued on with the conversation.
And then
Next thing you
who
know,
was it? Was it
we hear-
midnight?
I don't even know, but next thing you know, we hear Simon moaning, and we're like, Simon, are you okay? What happened? And he tells us, guys, I fucking passed out and I'm on the ground right now. So we literally heard him wake from his slumber on the ground. He fell out of his chair and onto the ground from laughing so hard at all our photos.
Oh my god.
That's
It was
all I
worth it, though.
remember.
It was what made it even better too was that I think it was midnight. One of our close friends that was in the call, I think he was the first one to point out that hold on, Simon's been way too quiet for someone just going to the bathroom. And then not one of our friends, not Bana, was like, "Oh my god, yeah, Simon, are you good?" And we all started like saying his name as loud as we could, trying to get his attention. Nothing was working. So we just like Jordan said, we just assumed he walked away and just that was it. No, he was dead basically. I remember also he tried to stand up almost immediately and fell
Oh,
right back to
yeah.
the floor.
Yeah,
Yeah, he told us that, like, okay, guys, I'm gonna try to stand up, and then that failed.
I got
I
to
remember that now.
go because I went down, I passed out, hit the floor, and I was like, okay, I gotta stand up. And I look up at the ceiling, and I'm like, oh man.
Never
try to-
mind.
And I'm seeing like the entire universe behind my eyelids.
Oh man.
And I just went right back down. It was funny though. It was worth it.
Yeah, we almost
It
killed
was worth-
Simon. Oh my god, that's amazing. Alright, so now, alright, let's move on. That whole, like, story section was way longer than I expected.
That was way longer.
Alright, video games. Jordan, what are some video games you've been playing recently?
I'm pretty sure most of you guys know what I've been playing recently, but for
Monster Hunter World.
yeah, Monster Hunter World
Damn it.
and some Borderlands 3. That DLC 3 came out. That was quite entertaining. I'm not completely through it yet, but no, it's been really great so far. This DLC is essentially Cowboys and Samurai, a blend of the two, and they some of the pets that they ride are actually essentially dinosaurs, alien dinosaurs, in fact. Yeah. Borderlands 3 has been getting a lot of flack, which I agree with. The main storyline was really
Black.
utterly freaking terrible.
It is.
But the redeeming side of the game is the DLCs because they had nothing to do with the main story. Which
Yeah,
was
the
everyone
DLCs
had-
are phenomenal so
yeah,
far.
they have nothing to do with the main story. The
They're just
first
ridiculous.
yeah, they're very redeeming, these other side stories. One of them is you go into the casino of Handsome Jack. It's its own floating casino. Essentially, even though he's dead, he's still an asshole, so he's programmed all these robots to still be dicks to people and keep people there and have them in debt for the rest of their lives. And you get to go in and destroy that and claim the casino for Moxie. The second DLC is it's about,
Guns and
wedding-
Tentacles.
Oh yeah.
Or what was the name of it? It had something
Guns,
tentacles.
Guns, Love, and Tentacles. Yeah.
Guns,
it's,
Love, and Tentacles. There we go.
Yeah, two of the side characters get married.
Everything that
and
makes Michael
essentially-
Oh no.
You
Two
fucking
of the
weeb.
side characters get married, and you essentially have to defend the couple and the venue that they're getting married at from a cult of alien worshippers that can use voodoo magic and portals and tentacles.
In other words, Cthulhu.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, Monster Hunter has been really great. I'm waiting on a friend to play more of that with me.
I've only just
but-
started. Like I'm
Oh,
still
man.
at the beginning.
It is so much fun. What console are you playing with? Playing on, sorry.
Xbox.
Oh man, if you're a PC, I would carry the crap out of you. Yeah, it's been those two. I've honestly speaking for the past 3 or 4 years with gaming, I've kind of slowly taken my foot off the gas pedal. Um, I don't know how I feel about gaming after COVID because COVID definitely was one of the things that kind of brought me back into it. Before it, I kind of was consumed by like work life and seeing friends, but no, it's been a good time playing games again and kind of getting back into that mood of things because that definitely was a big part of my life when I was growing up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Michael, what have you been playing recently? Because you're fucking quiet as hell.
I ended up finishing Pokemon X like I had mentioned I was playing last time. And then I started playing Alpha Sapphire. Other than that, I haven't really been playing much else.
Started Doom Eternal again.
Oh yeah.
I both love it and fucking hate it. I can't stand the fucking Marauder son of a bitch in that game. Like, hold on. Where's the God chat? Here it is. Like, let me just do something to try to explain to everybody watching this and then you guys that don't understand. So, the guy coming out of this portal in this GIF is a Marauder. You know, spoilers.
Yeah.
That's a Marauder. What makes this guy fucking terrible to fight, in my opinion, is you literally have a split second to do any damage to him. The entire time you're fighting him, he's able to deflect and, like, protect himself with every bullet that you throw at him. What you have to do is, there's a split second where his eyes turn green when he's about to hit you. That is your literal, like, legit, your only chance you have to shoot them. And if you miss it, you have to wait for him to try again.
Oh damn.
I think the only problem I actually had with the Marauder, aside from the first time I played him, was just the fucking dogs.
Dude, the dogs are... Ask
Because-
Michael, I was screaming about the dogs earlier. I
Yeah.
Jordan, you were there too, right?
I don't think so. I might
Oh.
have left a little earlier, something like that.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Simon,
fucking
how
dogs
you-
are
oh.
dumb. Sorry.
Yeah, Simon,
that?
how are you fighting Monster Hunter? What weapon are you playing right now?
Oh, I don't think I even got to an actual weapon part.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm
yeah.
still climbing up onto that big ass thing. I don't remember what
Okay.
it is. That big fucking
Oh,
monster?
yeah, I forgot the name.
Okay,
but
I thought that's
yeah.
what it was.
Yeah, no, I'm
Oh, yeah.
excited for you to play it. It's gonna be really fun. You're gonna enjoy it for
Jordan's
sure.
gonna be in your DMs for like the next 2 weeks now.
Yeah, if you have any questions about certain weapons, as long as I play them, I can give you some tips and like a general idea of how it works.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love that game. It's so much fun.
Cool game, but I could never get into it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It looks way
With,
too much for me.
With longsword, it's like high risk, high reward. You have 2 skills that pretty much give you invulnerability if you time it right. But essentially, that means you have to learn each monster and their individual patterns, and then abuse the hell out of your invulnerability frames. And you're literally just dancing around the monster. Hopefully, you don't get hit. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually been replaying through the entire Metal Gear Solid franchise again because
Sweet.
of Metal Gear's 33rd anniversary that happened recently.
Oh shit, did it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh shit, sucks we're not getting any more of those. Kojima.
You mean Konami?
Kojima.
Well, yeah, but isn't
Kojima
it...
wrote the franchise, and I'm pretty sure he actually owns the rights to it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I want to say he doesn't, because it's the same reason why he can't continue the Silent Hill game that he started.
Well, I think Silent Hill is being sold to Activision,
Oh no.
Blizzard?
which I don't have very high hopes, but I do remember that there some website was talking about it, or some people, and I was like, oh, that's probably not gonna be okay at all.
Yeah, I'm not
No.
gonna lie. A lot of people did delete their Blizzard accounts after the whole Hong Kong thing.
Yep.
Me included. That's why I kind of don't have Overwatch anymore, or Diablo 3.
Diablo
used to
3
play
is
a shit
such a
ton.
great game.
I
Oh
know.
my god. Literally my favorite RPG of third favorite RPG of all time.
Ooh, that's a
First
good
is
one.
Final Fantasy VII if you consider it.
Hmm.
So then, what is everybody's favorite RPG here?
Final
Oof.
Fantasy VII. Not a doubt in my mind.
All right, hell yeah, that's a solid one. What about you, Jordan?
I don't know. I love the remake. Like
Oh my god, yes.
you got Jason. You were there. I was
Oh, yeah.
falling in love with it every
Oh
single
yeah,
day.
he was in love with the game.
I finished that game in like 4 days during
Holy
COVID. Literally
shit.
4 days. I played the shit of it, and I was playing hard mode too. Like fucking hard mode. You can't use any items, 0 items, and you don't have a way of regaining mana until you finish the chapter. So
Wow.
you have to save your mana until you fight a boss. And I got screwed over at the haunted house because literally all you do is spend mana, and you have to like have
Yeah.
all your HP and magic based I can't even remember the word anymore. I can't English.
That fight was really fun.
Yeah. But
As much as
essentially-
grueling as it was, I had a lot of fun during that fight.
Yeah. The hard version, it spawns 3 tonberries every time.
Yeah.
You know? Instead of just 1. So if you get sleeped, if you get knifed, you can't use a certain amount of things because of the mana limit, and you have to pray, I think, is the skill instead of use MP for heal.
Yeah.
So you have to rework a lot of stuff, and like really you have to think about every fight before you even start it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you run into issues because like even the normal enemies, if you're really not prepared, even if it's in the same like quote unquote map and it switches to a different enemy type that's resistant to whatever you were using earlier, you have to go back and switch it out before you get to it.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's so much fun.
Oh
and
yeah.
I absolutely love the rooftop scene. Is honestly, oh man, so beautiful.
It is.
I literally fell in love with that. They
Yeah.
did that so well.
I like how, well, I don't like it, but I think it's just so much. I think it's insane how you actually, instead of just the game proclaiming that some characters are, dead, you actually see them dying, and you're like, oh shit, emotions.
Oh yeah,
Emotions.
Like I straight up was like on my couch, just like, bro, what the fuck? You can't
Yeah.
do this.
literally. Yeah, that's a really interesting thing because a lot of games they kind of direct a scene in a certain way that's all you can assume about it. Like you assume
Yeah.
that they're dead, and other characters say things, but they don't show it. But actually witnessing it, especially with the way they do the development, even for someone that hasn't played the original but is only playing the remake, like it
Yeah.
really sucks you in.
It really does. I still like the original better just for the sentiment of, it's the original. You can't really
Yeah.
get much better than the original.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Michael, what is your favorite RPG?
I think Pokemon counts as an RPG.
Besides
if-
Pokemon, you weeb.
I don't know what counts
get
as
them
an
Pokemon.
RPG a ton.
Well, Assassin's Creed does.
So does Skyrim.
Well, he's never played Skyrim.
Yeah.
Damn, you're missing out.
You guys are friends, and he's never played Skyrim. What?
I know,
Jason?
right?
Yeah.
What?
How
What?
dare I?
Which, that's funny, because Skyrim is my favorite RPG of literally all time.
Oh yeah,
Hell
we
yeah.
know. Hell yeah.
I like
We know,
live and
we know,
breathe that
but hell yeah.
game.
I mean, I guess like some Assassin's Creed would be up there.
Nice.
Some.
Yes.
He can't even tell you
Yeah.
a specific one.
Well,
All right,
I
okay,
like
what is your
Brotherhood and
favorite
3
Pokemon
and-
then?
Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Those are all kind of like the same like versions of the game, but well, like same game but different versions and such. But yeah, that trio. Yeah, there's a lot of like double versions.
Mostly the originals.
Yeah, I think Platinum is the better version because of like the little changes they did make, like adding more Pokemon in the Pokedex and such, and just overall, I enjoy Platinum so much. Hands down, my favorite Pokemon.
The hell was that?
Yeah. I did something stupid.
Oh, okay.
Which I guess I should tell because now everybody's gonna be curious. I had a little piece of skin sticking out, or like a little like skin flap, and I was just like, okay, I'll just take these tweezers and just pull at it real quick. It pulled off a really thin layer of skin, and for some reason now it's really killing me, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that thin layer that hurts a lot for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get it. But like, I touched it with my finger and it hurt so much. Click, clack, 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 clack.
Clack.
You're not supposed to do that. All right, so here's exactly, yeah. What happened, Jordan?
Angry.
All right, so I don't know if we talked about this in the last one, but what is a weird smell that everybody likes?
Oh, weird smell that everybody likes?
Weird smell that you guys like, yeah.
Depending on your view of it, weeds can smell like absolute shit, but I love the smell of it.
That's fair. I'm not a weed smoker, but
well, I'm sure you've smelled it.
Oh, most definitely.
Been around.
I have a funny story about that smell, actually. At work, we smoke fish. Like, we don't blaze the fish up, but we literally just use a smoking technique on cooking the fish. And we burn alfalfa hay, which is this. And the thing is that it smells like weed. It smells a little bit like weed, and we've had customers who have come for our private tastings and stuff for the new menu that's coming out on Wednesday. And we have like customers come up to us and say like, you know, the fish smells a little bit like weed, right? And it's smoked. So they're like, did you smoke your fish with actual weed? No, it's just alfalfa hay. Yeah, it's really weird because that smell isn't like, I'm surprised that smell isn't like only particular to like actual like cannabis weed.
Yeah.
Other things can smell slightly similar if they're like
Yeah.
somewhat related, but they don't have the same effects.
All right, so Jordan, what is a weird smell that you really like?
I don't know if it's considered weird everywhere, and it's kind of an obvious one, but I don't necessarily hate the smell of gasoline. And then once in a while, if I'm in the
that's
right
a
mood,
common one.
once in a while, if I'm in the right mood, I don't mind it at all. Like, it's actually somewhat pleasant and nostalgic in a certain way.
Yeah.
Well, I'll like go around looking for it, but if I'm gassing my car and I smell it a little bit, I'm like, yeah, this is a gross thing.
Oh. That is funny. Uh-oh.
I'm not liking it, but
Holy
most people are
shit.
like,
Oh,
oh
you know,
shit. Yeah. I'm
Sorry
not
about that.
opposed to
I'm
it.
back.
Yeah.
Apparently,
you,
I was
Michael?
losing connection for a second there.
That's weird.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Michael, what is your favorite weird smell?
don't say gasoline.
Yeah, that's already been talked about. Say something new.
Yeah, that was my original answer, but then I had to think of another one.
Yeah, motherfucker.
I know it's not a weird smell, but I'm going to count it since it's not
I swear to God, if you
a
say
smell
feet.
you smell every day. Oh my god.
I was
No.
gonna say the same thing, Jason, but I was gonna say I was gonna use it. I was gonna call it the F word instead. you straight up went for it.
Hell yeah, motherfucker.
Postnatal funk.
Oh God. Anyway, you were saying, Michael?
I know it's not a weird smell, but I like the smell of fresh cut grass.
Oh yeah.
It's
That's
a
a
really nice
stress
smell.
signal.
The smell of
We're
death by
dying.
plants.
Yes.
The smell of plants dying.
Oh man, that's
My
funny.
favorite smell.
So one for me, and I don't know why, because it technically doesn't have a smell, but I like when you're going to get your like laundry and stuff, and you open the dryer like right as soon as it's like done and fresh. That weird like smell that hits you right away from the dryer when it's like fresh.
That warm woof. Yeah.
Yeah, For whatever reason, I love that so goddamn much. So much.
Does your family use dryer sheets, or is it just
yes, dryer sheets?
Okay, yeah. Those smell nice, actually.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what specific ones we use, but it just every time it's just like peace. All right, so now we're gonna dive into a couple. We're gonna first do Q&A, and then we're gonna dive into a new thing that we're gonna be starting. So
Sure.
here in Q&A, oh my God, Michael.
Let's take a look.
Oh, there's the image I was talking about, ladies and gentlemen, right there.
Oh my god.
All right, so we have a question from Combat Wombat. Will my dad love me?
No.
Okay, moving on. All right, so Hibbity Hobo 7243 asks, for $10,000, you can shapeshift, but when you transform, you rip the loudest and smelliest fart. Would you do it?
That's implying that I don't already rip the loudest and smelliest farts.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily saying that. I think it's like when you do, you're just going to.
Oh, yeah.
So would you do it, Simon?
So yes.
Oh, what is the reasoning?
Well, now I can rip loud and smelly farts on command. Hey, it's $10,000.
Oh, jeez. What about you, Jordan?
I would say hell yeah. I'm sure you can sneak into a plane if you plan it out properly, and you can travel for free. For sure. As long as you plan out which washrooms you're gonna use and when,
Yeah.
you can sneak on the plane, you can get at the airport, you can sneak into an empty hotel room for free. As long as you plan out which washrooms you're gonna use and no one hears the fucking loudest fart in the world.
Okay, well, what about the smell? What are you gonna do then?
Well, obviously you transform first in your house, right? That's fine. The smell doesn't count there. You can sneak into the airplane in whatever form you want, like a fly or a mosquito, whatever. And
Assuming you don't die.
Yeah, and then you can fly out of the airplane when it docks, and just go straight to the airport, fly into the elevator, go up to a room, crawl in between the door and the floor, and just find an empty hotel room and transform back in one of those.
Okay.
I feel like this is something you've definitely thought about before.
Oh yeah, he's got so much detail. He's weirdly thought about this before.
Well, I saw the Q&A a little bit earlier, and I was like,
Bad
okay,
Jordan, don't look at it.
Pointing at it.
we were all talking about it when he posted it.
All right, Michael. What about you?
Yeah, I would.
What is your reasoning? And I swear, if you say what Jordan said.
No, it wasn't that.
Silence.
Honestly, why not? Because you get a free $10,000 out of it, and you don't have to like shapeshift drastically. I'd assume.
Could you shapeshift into Shaquille O'Neal?
Probably.
Probably.
All right, I'm fucking down.
I would assume so.
If I could become the main man Shaq, then yeah, I'm down.
What if you only decided to shapeshift one part of your body?
Oh,
I would have an awkwardly small
big
head.
brain, Jordan. Big brain.
I don't have to say anything more. You guys all know exactly what I'm talking
Big brain.
about.
Big brain right there. Big brain move. Jesus. I think that was it for Q&A this time, right? Yeah, that was it.
Yep.
All right, so now moving on to the new channel that we've added, Would You Rather, and there's a couple interesting ones. We're going to save the most interesting one for last. So, we got one from Ewan, or how we know her, Erin, saying, would you rather have to tune to drop E for your entire life and use all the strings, or be able to use any tuning but only use a random combination of strings at any given time and never all six?
Does it mean like random cages?
I don't know. She didn't elaborate on that part.
Yeah, what I'm wondering here is like, do you just randomly play the strings and you only get to play like 2 or 3 strings at a time, or
What if you get no strings? I know what happens.
Then, good question.
I already have a workaround for this.
Oh, all right, let's hear it.
So, this is only pertaining to the guitar itself. So
Okay.
I'm 100% sure you can still make a multi-band EQ that cancels out your lower two strings and play a regular 6 string. But
Oh.
you can play the notes that don't matter anyways, and you'd still technically be playing all the strings. As long as
Oh.
you don't hear it in your post-processing, you can have essentially strings that you won't hear in the end product. I think that would be my interpretation of the question, because it
Okay.
is a little bit vague. But
Yeah, a tiny bit vague, but
I think it would be easier to work with more and subtract however much you need than to work with less and get more.
true. I don't think I have an answer for it, just because I am still just quite a bit confused on the last half of it.
My interpretation of that would be like every time you pick up a guitar, it all of a sudden only has 3 strings attached, and maybe it's like the E, A, and G string this time around. Put it down, you pick up next time, it might be like only the low E, the high A, B, E, and then like a B, the B.
Okay, if we're
Yeah.
going off
BBB.
of that could make some really interesting like writing challenges for yourself.
That would
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
Ichika. That would be like Ichika Nido, but forced.
Yeah, pretty much.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Speaking
So.
of smelly ass farts, Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Good fuck.
All right. So we got one from Combat Wombat here. He says, would you rather go into a grocery store shopping in nothing but underwear in the middle of winter, or go grocery shopping in the middle of summer wearing 8 layers of tight clothing, restricting your movement, making tasks much slower?
I would
Well-
rather. Go ahead.
I feel like Simon has this already planned.
Yeah.
I actually have a story.
Oh my god.
So, you know how it gets really cold in the Midwest?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I have had, at one point, I actually got locked out of my house, and my cousin was working at a gas station that was about 3 miles west. So
Oh my God.
I had just gotten out of the shower, and I had a package at the front door. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get this package real quick. They left it in front of my garage, which was all the way down below the front door. It was like an entire story, not below ground, but below the first floor.
Yeah.
And I accidentally locked myself out. And the only person I knew who had a key was my cousin, who worked at that said gas station. So I had to walk all the way there. It wasn't actually winter, but it was spring, so it was still pretty fucking cold. And I had to get the key from him. I'll go all the way back. No, I didn't. No, I didn't walk back. I took his car. Didn't tell him.
Just didn't tell him.
Yeah. So then I went home.
Jesus. So then, which one would you rather do then in this scenario if you had to do it on purpose?
Well, the first ones would be funny as hell.
All right, Michael, what were you gonna say?
I'd rather do the first one because I have a couple of reasonings. One, I hate the heat more than I hate the cold. Two, if you're wearing 8 layers of clothes and you're going a lot slower, you're going to suffer for longer.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think the obvious answer is the first one for me.
Okay, Jordan.
I'm thinking about whether there's a frozen section and wherever you're grocery shopping, and whether you can walk in or not.
Like the beer
Because
fridge or the beer vault at
you can
gas
literally
stations.
have like a safe room of cold.
But
So,
you're
like, you
but
could-
you're still stuck in 8 layers of tight clothing.
True.
You'd have to be
Yeah.
there for a long time
Oh yeah,
to cool down, I'd assume.
if you even cool down.
Yeah.
So is this from your house to the shop to
Let's
back
say
to
in
the
this
house, or is
scenario,
this
you just pop into the store in either one of these scenarios.
okay, maybe in nothing but underwear then. Because you can, if you know what you're getting, I'm sure you can make it really fast.
Yeah.
True.
And you can like run, and you can work it with sweat, so that would help more.
True.
But the only question is after that, if you're covered in sweat in winter, you might catch it. You might get sick afterwards.
Fair.
True.
I think I'd have to go with the first one, kind of like what Michael said, just on the notion that the heat fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting to think about, because it's like, what happens if you get like opposing opposition while you're running around the store, like in the first one? Security trying to chase you down because you're in nothing but underwear, but you're trying to do your grocery shopping for the week.
It's just like, I just want a green tea. Leave me alone.
Or like if
I
it's
need my
like,
eggs and milk.
or if it's like a team of guys in the 8 layers, they just play bumper cars with themselves. Like both of you like turn the same corner going opposite ways.
Jesus Christ. Oh, that's great.
All right. I don't mean to interrupt anything, but I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Oh my god, hurry up.
I know, right?
Because we're literally on the last one that's super interesting, I think.
Yes.
I guess you better kill some time.
All right, Simon, what's a quick story you can tell?
Oh shit.
I don't think that's a story.
Well, I have plenty of shit-related stories.
Yeah, like the one you told us last time.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. I took a shit in my friend's cat's litter box.
What?
I felt like it.
How did that turn out?
It was pretty funny.
What did you use to wipe? That's my question.
I didn't.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I had to go to sleep bearing that burden of unwiped
Man.
cheeks.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Like
and
it-
he wasn't even in the room. I was like, you know what?
Oh,
I'm gonna fucking do it.
I
He
have-
walks in and he's like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I'm taking a shit in the litter box. What does it look like?
I have a follow-up question actually because of what we just talked about.
Okay.
Do you sit or stand when you wipe your ass?
Oh my god.
I do both.
Fair
I like
enough.
kind of stand up and sit at the same time. Like my thighs are still touching the toilet, but I'm still elevated above it.
Like do you literally just like lift one ass cheek up and approach from the side, or do you like actually
Lift
Oh, I
off.
go all in.
So you lift off.
Yes.
What the hell's going on?
Butt cheeks.
All right. Michael, how do you wipe your ass? Do you stand or do you sit?
I sit.
sit as in like lift up like only one butt cheek and you approach from the side versus like actually getting your whole like butt off into the air a little bit and you're like
Well,
crouching ish.
Yeah, I sit.
I stand. Like
Yeah,
100%
that's true,
I
too.
stand.
Like,
I used to, but then I got
upright,
lazy.
Damn.
you would be standing up anyways. What do you mean?
I can delay the standing up.
Oh my god. The funniest shit ever. I was talking to Jordan about this forever ago, and he was losing his shit. Like, no pun intended. But he could not comprehend that people like, I guess, me and Michael exist. And then what makes it even funnier, he went through the internet and found an entire Reddit post where people were like, wait, what?
So the Reddit post said in some areas it was split 50-50, but in some others it was also like 75 and 25.
Huh.
So
Oh,
it's very regional actually, somewhat. But were you taught by your parents to stand and wipe? Because I was taught by my parents to sit and wipe.
I think so. I think that's
I
how I
wasn't
was
even
taught.
taught how to wipe. I just fucking picked it up.
Oh, hey.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you did.
Both literally and figuratively. Jesus. All right, okay. Now on to the interesting question of the would you rather that hippie hobo has asked us. Would you rather get pegged by your girlfriend or be a femboy for a day?
I'll do both.
For how-
Damn,
how
I have
long-
no
Wait.
problem doing either.
How long for the first one?
Till they come.
Until they or you, I guess.
Eternity.
Like for a whole day? Like does the day does the whole day apply to both or just to one?
Okay,
Just
let's-
getting fucking pegged for 24 hours straight. It's
Oh
like,
my
please
God.
stop! I need the shit.
Oh my god. Oh no.
So
Michael, what would you
pegging-
do?
So just may I remind you, the other word for pegging is called poo pushing.
Oh god, yeah.
Okay, Jason, you're saying.
All right, Michael, what would you do? Are you getting pegged or are you being a femboy for a day?
I'd be a femboy for a day. Because that doesn't mean you're going to get pegged.
True.
No, not at all. All right, Jordan, which one are you choosing?
I would say the second one. You don't necessarily have to do anything outside of being that
Femboy with a beard.
But that,
Femboy with the beard.
but no, actually, like it doesn't say you have to do anything for that day other than be something.
That is
You
true.
have
I'm
to take
assuming
photos.
you have to at least dress up in the sense of what a femboy is.
But if you're alone in your room and you don't take any photos, you can just play games all day anyways. Right?
Okay, how about
Yeah.
we switch this up a little bit? So the first part stays the same, but for the femboy thing, you have to actively like dress up and look the part, but you also have to kind of like post pictures and stuff about it for that entire day.
I still have no problem doing either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Either?
we just learned something about Simon.
Mhm.
He is into getting pegged.
No,
Oh.
I'm gonna stop that sentence before I even start it.
But now the
Because I'm
people gotta
pretty
know.
sure. I'm pretty sure we'd be getting fucking visits from the fucking Soup Boys. Or sorry, the Alphabet Boys.
The Alphabet Boys. What?
Seriously? CIA, FBI, ATF.
Oh.
Any of them. Why not
Yeah.
all of them?
Okay, but like, so if you like for the femboy thing, if you had to post about it, share pictures of yourself like this, are you still going for that, or are you going for the other thing? Because like with the first part, you don't have to tell anybody that you and your girlfriend did that. It can stay between the two of you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
So then, Jordan, which one are you doing then in this case?
I want to see a bearded femboy.
Actually, with the idea of posting online, I think I'll actually do the first one. If
Oh, why
if,
not combine the two?
If the girlfriend, obviously if you trust your partner enough, right?
Oh yeah.
But if they post it, then there would be a lot of explaining to do for people that don't see it that way. But
Yeah.
if it's just your girlfriend witnessing it, then hopefully like you guys are close enough that it's okay.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I would say first one actually. I think.
All right,
In
so
that
Michael,
case.
with the updated rule or like mindset here, what are you doing then?
I'll stick with the second one, honestly.
So you're totally comfortable posting everything about it.
Sure, why not?
That's kind of my thought process too. Femboy it up. So have you guys heard about the femboy hooters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Femboy hooters. There's probably somebody that's gonna listen to this and be like, what are they talking about right now? Well, you
Probably.
see, go to Urban Dictionary and you'll learn. You'll learn a lot. All right, so something I want to talk about just because we got Jordan here, even though we did talk about it last time. Ghosts.
Yes.
Me, Simon, and Michael yesterday just watched the most fucking terrifying movie I've watched in a long time.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
and
actually
Michael's
have
got a
a-
fun story about it. But for a little
Yeah,
bit of
I can think
background,
about that.
the movie we watched, it was called The Demon House, right, Simon?
Yes. It was
was-
Zach Bagans'
Yep.
solo documentary, I guess it was, about the what once was a demon house in Gary, Indiana, where there was like a bunch of possessions and all types of fucking funky shit.
And then at one point in the movie, he ends up like barricading himself into this house where it's only him and his cameras. And I won't like spoil anything in case some people do actually want to go and watch this. I recommend it. It was terrifying and really
too.
entertaining.
It was great.
But it had some scary ass moments when it got to that part.
Damn.
Yes.
So Michael actually has a really hilarious story about this. So Michael, the stage is yours.
Okay, so I'll preface this. Is that the right word?
Yes, preference.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah, I'll say I don't believe in ghosts. Like, I'm not saying there's no possibility or whatever. I didn't make that clear last time, I think. But I definitely think there's a possibility, but I don't believe in them as I've never had an experience with them. But of course, it was still a horror movie to me. I'm still scared.
Yeah, the
So-
movie was terrifying.
Yeah, so okay, so with how the hallway is laid out, my room is, if you're facing the hallway where you can see all 3 doors, my room is to the right side and the bathroom is to the right, so to the front. So I turn a corner just to go into the bathroom. So I do that real quick, right? I finish washing my hands, go to walk out, and my sister is standing there in the dark with her head down, and I'm like, oh my god, tonight's my night. And later on I had to explain to her, because she knew I was watching a movie but she didn't know what I was watching. So later on I had to explain to her just how much she scared me.
It was like in that like quick half second of terror, he prayed to every god that possibly exists out there.
Pretty much.
Everybody
Damn.
received a DM from Michael. Just help.
Somebody get this thing, please.
Yeah.
Because me and Simon were still talking about the movie, and Michael comes back and overhears, "Oh my god!"
One of I guess the closest experience I have personally with ghosts is not a story that belongs to me,
Mhm.
but the craziest thing about it is how recent it is. Okay,
Okay.
let me explain. We have an airport in Vancouver, and nearby we have an outlet mall, which is less than like 5 years old. The thing about Vancouver and Canada in general is that obviously there's a lot of indigenous people that used to live here, right?
Yeah.
And supposedly there was a burial site underneath where that new brand spanking new outlet mall was. Usually haunted house stories and things like that usually stem from like quote unquote like
This is
50
an
years
ancient burial
ago,
ground.
100 years ago, 200 years ago, right? And
Uh-huh.
things have been haunted for so long, right? That's kind of the idea behind these stories, right?
Mhm.
But I have heard ghost stories from friends that have worked at this outlet mall, which is only 5 years old. I think that's one of like the wildest things about it is that this is a brand new building, but it only got haunted after it was built, and that was only 5 years ago. And I heard a story firsthand
I am
about like
interested.
a brand new building being built and it is being occupied by ghosts that are like fucking around with the lights or fucking around with the inventory.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fucking interesting. Because then, for someone like me and Simon who believes in this kind of thing and thinks that there is something out there that we can't explain in that degree, for me at least, I don't know if Simon will agree or not, but that to me would show me that the ground before the building being built, that ground had to have been haunted too. And it just escalated because the building was put there. It like where it should not have been.
Yeah. I'll show you guys photos of what the area looks like
Mhm.
because it is literally an in between of the city and the airport. Like, imagine like the edge of Vancouver is a line that goes down and then slowly curves to the right. And then the airport's literally on an island where that like sudden curve is. in that line. And there's a highway that goes from the airport. It goes right, and then it goes east, and then it turns north to meet up with it. So it's like a line and a dot at the curve of the line.
Mm-hmm.
So there was nothing, literally flat land, and beside the highway that goes back to the main city, there was like, for as long as I lived, there was nothing there before. It was just a flat. It used to be just a parking lot, and then they built it. There's not like these. It's not like there were houses before. It went from flat to like an outlet mall, which is like mostly just bricks, and then the buildings are just like, they look like townhouses kind of, and it's just shops. Yeah, it's wild. Like, cause I guess the more typical thing that you see is like
This house is
houses.
500 years old.
Yeah, and it's haunted versus like
10 people have died in this house.
yeah, this is like a brand spanking new building and it's haunted, which is wild to me because I think
yeah.
that's somewhat rare in terms of a story.
So now something else I want to ask about, stuff like this. Do anyone here, did any of us have like a moment that could be considered paranormal, but we can't really explain it? Like just something really strange happened that, a lot of things are accounted for. Like there was no people there besides you, but something weird happened that you won't 100% say is paranormal, but you also cannot say that nothing happened, basically.
Not that I can recall.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the typical, like, you think you heard a noise in the house, but your parents were out. But most of that stuff usually doesn't end up I don't remember exactly like specific situations because it's happened like a handful of times, but like over like my whole lifetime.
Yeah. Simon, do
How about
you
you guys?
have any crazy story?
Huh? Oh shit! I zoned out.
Okay, basically I asked, do you have any unexplained like story that you still can't quite understand? You won't 100% say it was paranormal, but you just can't quite, disregard it as not being that, basically.
There was one thing. Back in Missouri, this town next to mine, I used to go over there all the time and skate with a group of friends. It was a railroad town back in the 1800s, so there's houses that are, 200 something odd years old there.
Yeah.
And one of my friends lives in one of those houses. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to stay over here tonight and totally do fucking ghost hunt in your basement.
Me
And
too.
at one point, I was just taking pictures of random shit, hoping to get something. I was just grasping at straws because nothing had happened. And one picture in particular, it was of a door frame, and you could see just beyond it there was like a white wisp.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I took a second picture, and it wasn't there. So I was like, oh, maybe it was just a reflection because some of the lights, or not the lights, but the like the basement windows that kind of stick up above ground.
Yeah.
Those were open, so at first I kind of played it off as like, oh, it's just some dust in the light, and then I started looking at it more, and I was like, maybe it wasn't.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, do you have any strange occurrence like this?
Other than like what Jordan said earlier, it's just kind of like other than like strange noise you hear occasionally. Like one time while I was at work, I was doing something on Dollar General side, and it was nobody but me over there. So all of the lights, well, not all of them, but most of the lights would shut off, and it would be mostly dark and way off to the other side where I'm not working, right?
Yeah.
And I would like hear noises or think I see something out of the corner of my eye, but I think I was just hallucinating or something. It was a long night.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the other people were on the other side of the building where we would normally work, but other than like the strange noise or me like seeing something out of my eye that it's not there. Other than that,
Speaking of
nothing.
strange
Yeah.
noise, your mic is popping pretty hard.
Yeah, your
Oh,
mic
is
is
it?
like your mic is getting distorted as hell.
Let me mute and fix that.
All right. I kind of have two stories that I cannot explain. This first one, if you guys don't know this, because Michael always forgets this, I have two sisters and one brother. Only one of my sisters is still in contact with me, and I don't talk to my brother or my other sister. My other sister and my brother are my dad's two other kids before he married my mom, and I am the only child between my parents right now. I'm actually an uncle to a lovely kid named Jaredin, and for a while, him and his mom, who is my other sister, Tira, lived with us for a while. And so if you guys don't know about this phenomenon, there's a weird phenomenon, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's believed that children as young as like 1 to 5, 6 years old are susceptible. I can't speak.
Acceptable?
Hello.
Hello.
Acceptable, yeah. Something like
Yeah,
that.
that word, to weird occurrences like that. Because my sister had specifically brought up to to Jaredin's doctor that there's moments where he'll be like looking at her and then suddenly he's looking off specifically at something and he gets super upset by something. Just starts bawling, starts freaking out, but they can't figure out what he's staring at. And so what the doctor ended up explaining to her was that there's a weird phenomenon where it's believed that children that young have such an innocent soul, or like an innocence to them, that stuff like that can happen to them that young, where they can see things and experience things that we can't because we're not of the air quote pureness anymore, because we've been corrupted by, just everyday life, and they haven't yet.
Yeah.
Whether you believe that or not, take that as you will. But I remember there was one night he was like 1 or 2 years old, running around, being a kid that young.
Mm-hmm.
We were, it was me, my mom, and my sister Tira. We're all just in the living room hanging out, and he's just running around being a kid. And we got quiet because we just didn't really have anything to say to each other. And all of a sudden, we noticed Jaredin stopped running around. He stopped making noise. So we kind of looked around the room, and he was staring down the hallway to the back door. And something caught his attention, and we still don't know what it was. But he would not go any closer to that like mini hallway right there to the back door. And when we would ask him what was what's scaring you, what's going on, the only thing he kept saying was, the man right there is scaring me. And we're all like just staring at each other like, what man? There no one's there. And he was straight pointing at like the bathroom that was like right in that hallway, saying that there's a guy in the bathroom staring at him. And it's even happening to me now. I'm getting fucking goosebumps talking about this again.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit right now too. Shit.
It was fucking strange. He literally would not go anywhere near that. It got to the point where Tira had to walk over there and like turn on the light and show him that nothing was there before he would even go near that place again. But he seen something there that apparently was a guy just there. That's yeah. I was just gonna like finish off that first story. Was just, that's one thing that still fucks with me to this day, because that kid was oddly specific that night about what he was seeing.
Yeah.
But you were about to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say another thing about that age range as well is that they don't understand the concept of object permanence.
What do you mean by that?
So when you see an apple there, even if you're not looking at it anymore, you turn your face away, you know it's there.
Yeah.
Right? So if you show a kid like a magic trick, even a really simple one, you show someone a red ball, right, a sponge ball, show them a green ball, you'll put the thing in, they'll watch you put the ball in your pocket, you do a few other tricks, you pull the red ball back out, and the concept that it still was there doesn't register.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, a red ball, blah 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 blah. Oh, a red ball, even though they watched it go into the pocket and come back out. So like that might have and that might be like another part of the brain that also develops that I don't know. I'm not saying it necessarily cancels out the ability to see things like your nephew did.
Yeah.
But that is also another thing that changes in the brain when they get to that age as well. So it might be linked.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Just,
Because if we think about how those two concepts are similar, like seeing things that shouldn't make sense, and the opposite side of the same coin is knowing things that make sense exist. Those are two sides of the same coin.
yeah.
And if the brain develops to a point that they can distinguish those two things, maybe it is true. Maybe like we really can't see supernatural things until like they're really obvious. But maybe when we're kids, we can like really see it. I don't recall personally having any stories of that myself when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but that could be an explanation.
Yeah, I still have fucking goosebumps thinking about that.
Yeah.
Another like story I have, and I kind of already have like a slight explanation for it in a couple ways. I was really close to my grandfather when he passed away. You can ask Michael. He was my best friend. He was my hero. And when he died, it really fucked with me, and it still fucks with me to this day that he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having a really strange and vivid dream where it literally didn't feel like a dream anymore. I remember we were sitting at like some sort of bar together, and he was telling me that he was proud of how everybody handled the situation, and that what we did for in the honor of his like memory is exactly what he wanted from us. And I just remember waking up, and I couldn't it was like a weird mind state where I couldn't connect the dots that it was a dream or what it was, but I literally felt him like patting me on the back and shit, and that still like fucks with me. Because you're not supposed to feel things like that in your dream. You're not supposed to have any feeling like that. But I distinctly remember like feeling his hand lightly hitting me in the back in that dream. Whether that's paranormal or not. What?
I was gonna ask, was that something he did a lot in real life before he passed away?
Oh yeah. He was one of those people that he showed affection quite a lot in that sense. So he always loved hugging people, especially his family. He was a very family and emotional oriented man like that, so it was a huge thing for him.
Yeah. Yeah, that must have been like something really significant, right? For you to like have a muscle memory of that motion.
And I remember talking about it to a few people, and one explanation I got about it, and it makes sense, but I also it was such a vivid thing that I don't know if I fully believe it or not. But what might have happened in that moment is because how much he meant to me when he died, and still to this day means to me, that was my brain trying to deal with the grieving in some way.
Yeah.
And what I was basically explained was it gave me a very vivid dream, like a lucid dream basically, where I got to basically talk to him one more time in my mind.
Yeah.
But that's still another one of those things that's like I can't really explain how it felt in that moment. I just realized everybody else is quiet.
I've just been listening.
Yeah, those are my like two things. One, a hell of a lot creepier than the other one.
Oh yeah.
Fucking children.
I was gonna say something before you started that next story, but I already forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh man.
That's okay. I'll either remember it later tonight or something else.
Yeah. What is next that we could talk about since we have you here and we can kind of go a little bit longer than we did last time? Oh, here's one. What is a really weird fact that you know? Or like something that you learned that's really fucking weird?
I usually can't think of them on the spot, but if someone else is talking about a topic that I happen to know of, I'm always like really happy to share information. I feel like you kind of really get that vibe from me. Like
Oh yeah.
kind of I go into depth for a lot of things that some of the people might not even like bother to go more into, but like I usually like thinking these things out, and if that has to do with any like prior knowledge, I'll usually talk about it.
Oh yeah.
But like if you ask me like on the spot, like what I don't, my brain doesn't even know what's considered random because I kind of know things about lots of stuff, and then usually I don't consider it random because I have there was a story behind me learning it, I guess.
Oh yeah. I guess for like a quick example, in Nevada, it is illegal to go fishing off of your giraffe.
There was a YouTube video of someone testing out all those legal and illegal things. Like there's a bunch of
There's a British one too.
yeah, there's a British one. Yeah, this guy. Yeah. It's illegal to carry around a suspicious fish, or it's illegal to carry a fish in public suspiciously. And he literally tested it out and walked in front of the cops and like the royal guard, and he didn't get handcuffed.
And
He
it's
was
also
doing
illegal
all
to
those.
to be barefoot within 300 feet of the royal queen.
Yeah, so he literally stood outside of the palace with bare feet,
Yep.
and he wasn't arrested. Like it was hilarious. He was just testing out all these like really, really insanely old like laws in Britain. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah. One I remember too is like in New Jersey, you're not allowed to honk your horn if you're like within like I think it said like 10,
After
20
9
feet
p.m.
up. Yeah, like after 9 p.m. or like 10, 20 feet within a sandwich shop.
Oh,
Yeah. And like
What?
I forget the video I seen it on, but they literally looked up New Jersey law and they actually found the statute that talked about it.
Oh my god.
That it actually is a thing.
if you think about it, it's kind of crazy because when countries and cities were so small that one person must have done something really wild and everyone hated it enough to make a rule against it. That means like in when every city was probably like less than like 200 people, everyone knew one crazy asshole that wanted to do one crazy thing, and they made that specific thing a law. Isn't that wild?
Oh yeah.
Imagine being the guy like, hey, they made a law after me.
Yeah, like imagine growing up now and knowing that it was like your great
Bless you.
grandfather that forced that one law to happen.
Oh yeah. Or like here's another one. If you're going to commit a crime in Detroit, it is illegal to do a crime while wearing a bulletproof vest.
No shit.
What?
Yeah, it's literally a thing, and I think it's just to pin more on people when they do shit like that. Because it's fucking Detroit. Everybody knows what Detroit is like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's legitimately illegal to do like anything illegal while wearing a bulletproof vest. I don't get it. Then like one that I know that's I forget, it's one of the southern countries, so it's already fucking weird to begin with.
Yeah.
And
Here's one.
huh?
All right, go ahead.
Oh. Now I don't remember it like for like verbatim, but the whole gist of it was you could not shoot your shotgun while your wife was orgasming.
I remember that one.
You cannot shoot a shotgun while your wife was orgasming.
Is that like supposed to be a euphemism, or is that like literal?
Literal.
Because like that would kind of not what it would make somewhat more sense in a sexual context, but like in real life with a real shotgun, that makes even less context. Makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Even less. Yeah.
It just I don't understand it.
Me neither.
What were you gonna say, Simon?
Oh yeah. Voltaire, a French writer, made up the story of an apple falling on Isaac Newton's head so that he
What?
could explain gravity to normal people.
Yeah, he was. I remember
Huh.
that name from like physics class. He was one of the guys that like helped develop one of the equations.
Yeah.
Huh,
I
so
actually did
gravity
not
is
know that.
fake?
This is just when everything starts floating.
Yeah.
You start
Jesus.
questioning it. Oh, we questioned physics. Oh no, we're all gonna die now.
Just fucking
Suck.
Deadpool walks into our rooms. God damn it, you broke reality.
God damn it! Think about what you did. Did you even know?
You
You
have
know how
no
much work
idea.
I've gone through just to reverse your dumbass's moves. Ah,
Do you have
fucking
any
shit.
idea the gravity of the paradox you've just created?
And then he just talk. He just talks to a wall, and we're just like so confused.
Oh my god, that'd be fucking amazing.
Oh shit.
Another weird law that I just now remembered. In New Mexico, you are not allowed to have your donkey inside of a bathtub in your house.
Yes.
Why that's the thing, I am not sure.
Maybe because the lady smuggled the donkey in her bathtub in her house. That sounds like something that actually might happen in the news, though. Not gonna lie.
Whose Danky was it?
A
No idea.
donkey.
Danky.
Now, it's not necessarily like an illegal thing, but I remember hearing about this through one of Jared Dines' old videos. But Jared Dines knows a guy who like lives out in like the mountains in like Washington and stuff. And what he was saying, or what he was talking about, was when you live out in places like that, you have like a weird like extra bill onto like your rent and stuff for the scenery, right? Like you're paying extra because of the scenery that you get to see every day.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
apparently
Wow.
this is a very common thing. And he was talking about this specific friend. His house didn't really have the best scenery because it was surrounded by trees, basically. Well, one day this the neighboring city or whatever came through and chopped down like a bunch of like the forest or whatever. And now his friend could see more of the mountain and see more of the range. The next like rent bill he got, that like added extra like money charge was on there because the scenery changed.
Huh.
I
So
don't understand it.
My question is, if he's already not living in a city, like how can they pinpoint his address?
I
Officially.
don't know.
Right? That does make how does that make sense?
I don't remember the
It-
full story because I haven't watched Jared Dines' videos in forever. But
Yeah, me too.
that's what I remember the most. Is
That's
just
wild.
yeah, it's just that specific thing, and it makes no sense.
Honestly, at that point, just board my windows up if you're gonna charge me more to look out of it.
Exactly. Like Jesus Christ, why am I paying $600 more just to see the mountain?
Like, sure, it looks nice, but it's not worth more money.
No, not at
Yeah,
all.
you can literally
Oh.
just like move your wooden house a little bit further down the road and then just walk uphill a little bit for the nice view. Like
Just put it
jeez.
on a dolly and walk it.
I mean, the
Bye.
Amish do that. They
fuckers,
lift
I'm
up the
not-
entire house and they move it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, the Amish are scary anyway.
Oh yeah.
They're scary in some of the best ways because, like, they can move a fucking house. Have you guys actually seen that video where it's the Amish lifting a barn?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
about to
really?
show you
There's one
something.
where a construction team did something similar.
Oh, really?
Should we save this for after the podcast for sharing links?
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Probably, yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, I'll definitely check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so since we should probably be wrapping this up, let's talk about this last thing, which is on here. What are some of your projects and stuff, man? Like, what are you currently doing that people can check out?
Who's answering first?
I was talking directly to you.
Oh,
The guest.
I was about to say we talked about this last time. I'm talking to the guest.
Yeah. I mentioned it earlier in the beginning of the podcast, but I'll do once more just for you guys to hear again. One band that I'm working with is Fear the Dark. It features Jason and Michael as well as a few of our other friends. We're gonna be putting on an EP soon, and we have a single out. Definitely check it out. And my other band is Inpathos. That's INPATHOS. You can find us on any streaming service, most of the major ones at least. We're also on YouTube, Spotify. etc. Otherwise, I'm just working at a sushi restaurant down in Vancouver. Yeah, that's all that's been going on for me.
All right, sweet. So that's time, right, Simon?
What?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, all right. So that is time, everybody. We hope to see you on episode 3 next Monday.
Whoa!
Perhaps.